Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mindel Archives. Since we are now in the middle of the Milchama, in the middle of the war in Eretz Yisrael, so just like the other Milchamas, the other wars, the 6-Day War in 67, the Yom Kippur War, people asked the Rebbe, people from America, people Chutz La'aretz, that don't live in Eretz Yisrael and they want to help, they want to do something. So they asked the Rebbe, what can they do to help? They can't go to Eretz Yisrael. So the Rebbe answered then that our ammunition is Torah mitzvahs and bifrat, particularly the mitzvah of Tefillin. This was the Rebbe's inyan in 67, also in Yom Kippur War. Divrei tzadikim kayomim la'ad l'olmei olomim. So the same thing applies today. People want to know today, they live here, what should they do? Of course, everybody says Tehillim, they say Mishaberach for the soldiers, for the Eretz Yisrael, but the Iker is the Inyan for Tefillin. This is what the Rebbe wanted then, and the same thing should be now. I remember the 6-Day War. The whole world relied, what will the Lubavitcher Rebbe say? Not only the non-religious people, the frum people, the Chassidim, the Sfardim, the Mizrahi, Aguda, even Rabbeim, Chassidish Rabbeim, relied on the Rebbe. Some of them even wanted to leave then at Yisrael. But soon as they heard that the Lubavitcher Rebbe said stay, they stayed. Meaning that the Rebbe, whatever the Rebbe, the Nossi Hadar, whatever the Rebbe said, this is how it was. So if the Rebbe says that when it comes to Milchama, the Rebbe stressed the inyan for Tefillin, I think this should be our inyan, that we should try to be mahader in Tefillin, and also try that people throughout the world try to go out sometime to put on Tefillin with Eden that don't put on Tefillin. As my Rabbi Mindel said then, and he wrote an introduction of the letter and spirit, that the Rebbe wore 3 crowns. The Rebbe wore the crown of a Nossi Chabad. The Rebbe wore the crown of Klal Yisrael. How many people in the world? Thousands of people. I don't know if there's any other Rebbe that so many people came, Pashat Shailes, and were involved with the Rebbe. And the Rebbe was involved in everything in the world. Mihi Yehudi, Sheva Mitzvahs B'neiach, Eretz Yisrael, Mashiach. And here he wrote letters to presidents, he wrote letters to prime ministers. I mean, he was involved in everything. So the Rebbe, his inyan is about putting on film. Now, people think that the mitzvah Tefillin started in 67. So I want to share with you over here, I found a letter the Rebbe wrote in the 40s, 42, 43, 1943, time of the Holocaust. And I just want to read what the Rebbe wrote. He was called then the Ramash. He wrote in the name of the Frierdiker Rebbe of the Rayatz, Rebbe Rayatz. He writes like this, and this is, he wrote to the soldiers. Members of the armed service and land, sea, air, and the Rebbe writes, our sages say, he who puts on Tefillin regularly merits long life. Brothers in the armed service, be very careful to put on Tefillin on each weekday. The putting on Tefillin is a special merit which will evoke God's mercy that you will return home safely. We urge to observe all religious precepts with the same care as tefillin, and you should regard it like that. And also, you should try to see that other people should put on film. The serviceman, he says, who has absolutely no possibility to put on the tefillin in the morning, should put them on later in the day, but before sunset. Those are the words that the Rebbe wrote in the name of the Frierdiker Rebbe. So we see that the tefillin, when it is not only started in 67, even in the time of the Holocaust, was a union for tefillin. Now, Jewish history didn't change for 3,000 years. Time changed, the place, characters, but not the history. So just like then, Paray in Mitzrayim in Egypt, Nebuchadnezzar in Bavel, and Antiochus in Greece, Haman in Iran, Stalin in Russia, and Hitler, Yamach Shemai. So the same thing also now with Hamas. So this is the answer to people that they want to know what we can do here in America to strengthen the in Eretz Yisrael. Now I want to share with you a letter. Really, it's two letters, but I don't know if we have time for one. But someone wrote, he's a Litvish, I don't know, maybe a Godel. Like, how does the Rebbe know that tefillin is the thing? That tefillin has to do with Muhammad. Maybe there's so many other mitzvahs. Why does the Rebbe know? The Rebbe wrote a very, very strong letter. Very, very. And if I have time, I'll read it. But first I want to read the other letter that was written by a shliach. When the Rebbe came out then with mitzvot tefillin, people heard about it, and Chabad was very much involved. Tefillin, everybody tefillin. So some people, I guess, mentioned that they want to get paid for it. I'll put on film if I get something for it. So I want to read exactly what the Rebbe writes. Since everything is by Hashgacha Proteus, by divine providence, I must take a stand in regard to the other matter in your letter, they wrote, which you mention in quite a casual way without seeing anything being wrong with it. I refer to the matter of Jew, suggesting to another Jews, to put on film, and the latter agreed on condition that the person suggesting it should do something in return. This is rather surprising and painful, especially in our time, when the Jewish situation in general is a difficult one, and when the observance of mitzvahs, particularly the mitzvah of tefillin, is even more important than ever. We live in a time when all isms have gone bankrupt, and it has become obvious that there is no other way for Jews but to identify with authentic Torah Judaism through the commitment in the daily life to the fulfillment of the mitzvah. This has been the only consistent factor which has preserved our Jewish people and Jewish individuals through our long and difficult history. Other factors which are vital to the existence of other nations, such as political independence and territory of their own, language, culture, and so on, have not been constant factors in the preservation of the Jewish people, and have changed from one extreme to another. As is well known, only such things as putting on film, which is agreed, which already is written in the Chumash and goes back to the giving of the Torah at Sinai, remains the same and unchanged, as has also been proven archaeology, as the tefillin that have been found in Masada. It is also well known that in every generation there have been persons or groups who deviated from the way of the mitzvahs, but before long they returned to the fold and began to observe the mitzvahs again, or they were assimilated and lost completely to our Jewish people. There should therefore be no doubt in everybody's mind at this time that the real mainstay of our people and the secret of its survival, which is no secret at all, is adherence to the Torah and mitzvahs in the daily life. For this reason, and this the Rebbe underlines, it is shocking to hear that when a Jew is asked to put on tefillin, he agreed to it only if he were paid for it in some way. So apparently we see here that then when some people, that's what they asked, if people wanted to put on tefillin, but they say only if you are paid for it, and this is the answer of the Rebbe. Now this reminds me of something. I mean, this is the sheet of the Rebbe, and this is a letter. Our family, we lived in Cleveland, Ohio. My father, my Zayde, every week, every Mitzvah Shabbos, the Bachrim from Telze Yeshiva, Telze Yeshiva was in Wycliffe, was another neighborhood, maybe 40 minutes drive. So Bachrim wanted to learn Chassidus. Quite a few Bachrim, there were 2 cars of Bachrim, maybe there were 10 or 12 Bachrim, came to learn every week. They couldn't go in the middle of the week because unfortunately the Rosh Yeshivas if they would find out, they wouldn't give them permission. So they am sich herausgegangen mit Shabbos, late, when there was no Seder, and they took 2 taxis, and they came from Wycliffe to, we lived in the Heights, which is about 40 minutes. Now the cost was quite a lot. So one day they came over to my father and they said to my father that we don't know whether we can come and learn Chassidus because we have no money. I mean, how did the Bachrim have money? And it cost a lot of money, $40, $50. They didn't have. So they didn't know. They tried, the Mesiras Nefesh, but they don't have no money. So they asked my father. Now Rabbi Reichik from California happens to be in Cleveland. Every year he came to Cleveland to collect money. He was a shadar. So he happened to be there. So Rabbi Reichik said, I think that we should go raise money. Here are Bachrim, Mesiras Nefesh, and they want to learn Chassidus, but they have no money. I think we should raise money or we should give them money. But my father, I remember, did not agree. So Rabbi Reichik says to him, he says, you know what, you're going into the Rebbe, and Yechidus used to travel before Yitzvat. He says, ask the Rebbe, tell the Rebbe you learn Chassidus every week, your Bachrim Mesiras Nefesh, they want to learn Chassidus, and ask the Rebbe, and they can't afford it, what should we do? So my father asked the Rebbe. So the Rebbe said, and this is in Yiddish, Rebbe answered, Chassidus darf sich nicht herablassen, azay niederig, aber mir soll noch zuzahlen, lernen Chassidus. Chassidus doesn't have to lower itself so much that we should pay somebody to learn Chassidus. If they want to learn Chassidus, they will find a way. So my father came back to told Rabbi Reichik. Of course, Rabbi Reichik said, the Rebbe said so about it. And the end is that they came and they learned Chassidus and they found a way. So this reminds me on this shliach as the Rebbe that they want to put on film only if they get paid. It doesn't seem here that the Rebbe agreed with that shita. Sometimes I heard from Rabbi Hecht something else. Rabbi J.J. Hecht once told me that he came to the Rebbe and he told the Rebbe that he gave out Pesach, before Pesach, 500 matzahs for free. He thought the Rebbe would get excited. But the Rebbe said, did anybody pay anything? He says, no, it's for free. The Rebbe was not excited. I mean, you give a matzah, fine. I mean, if a person pays for it, that means probably he'll eat it on Pesach. But a lot of people, and I know people that give matzah 2 weeks before Pesach, and then they come and they say they made a matzah brai, and it was before Pesach. Happens many, many times. So you have to know what is choshev. Sometimes we think it's choshev with stake, but sometimes, I mean, the Rebbe knows better the people. So over here also, if people say, I'll only put on tefillin if you give me money, love dafke, this is something we can do. This is I want to learn out. But anyways, the main thing is that we can learn out from here that now it's a time of a milchome, so it's a time that we should try to do in the mitzvot tefillin. Thank you very much.